Please pray with me. God, may the words of my mouth, the meditations of all of our hearts be acceptable to you, O God, our strength and our rock. Amen. Now, if we were in the sanctuary in Nobleton, or in that community room at Kitchen Braden Manor, or in the basement at the Anglican Church in Schomberg, I would be asking us to sing. And I know we can't do that, but I would still like to do that anyway, somehow. If you happen to have a Voices United at home near you, why don't you put me on pause and go get it? And when you have it, turn to hymn number 402. No, I'm not singing. It's okay. But this hymn, I feel, speaks to what the writer of Lamentations has been wanting the people of Israel to realize in the fallout of the destruction of the temple. That they still are a community, that together they will be able to rise and regain their faith and their relationship with God. So here's what the first verse of hymn number 402, We Are One, says. We are one as we come joyful to be here. In the praise on our lips, there's a sense that God is near. We are one as we sing, as we seek, we are found, and we come needful of God's grace as we meet together in this place. Well, the hymn continues reminding us that in community we are stronger. And the final line of the last verse is, and we seek justice in God's ways as we move together from this place. So I want you to keep those lines in mind as I guide you in this reflection. The other week when Reverend Carol Ann talked about the beginning of Lamentations, she said that lament is a way of crying out to God, of sharing the pain that you are experiencing. Our faith community needs to be a safe place to lament and cry out. And so we continue today with more lament that almost seems overwhelming. I have to admit, when I first read chapter 3, I thought I might as well pack my bags and get out of town. But then as I spent some time with these challenging verses, I began to see the hope that's found there. But first, the writer has to name all the horrific things that have been happening and how he's feeling. And he really doesn't leave very much out, does he? Just when he's as low as he can go, he shares a glimmer of hope. And he writes, the steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. It's not that his sense of being bereft has left. It's that he realizes God is still there, right with him, and that he can sit up and even get up and begin to walk in faith again. Now, he's not leaving the trauma behind because, well, it surrounds him. And he knows that God's compassion will be there and will hold him up. I think that sounds a little bit like us, don't you think? Don't we at times feel like the world is coming to an end? And then all of a sudden, we get a glimpse of God's grace, of God's compassion. And slowly we begin to see that no, the world is not ending, but that life is going to continue and it's going to be okay. Well, it might be different. It might still be challenging, but there is the hope that we're going to get through this and we're going to come out a lot stronger. I believe that's what happens when we become part of a faith community. Oh, we come for all kinds of reasons. But when we examine these reasons, it ends up being for three things that people come to a faith community: for help, for hope, and for home. We come because we just do not want to feel alone. Oh, I know we can go and do all those things that those who claim to be not religious but spiritual say you can do, like worship somewhere in the garden or on a walk. And yes, we can do that. But it's when we gather together, whether it's in person or how we're doing it now, online or on a Zoom meeting or through a phone call or even emails. It's during those moments that we gain our strength. People seek us out because they're looking for hope, where they can be accepted, warts and all. And we all come broken in one way or another. And through our brokenness, we find the whole love that God offers us, and we discover the grace that Jesus gives us. Have any of you seen the movie Steel Magnolias? It stars Sally Fields, Julia Roberts, Dolly Parton, Shirley MacLaine, and a number of others. And it really is a great movie, but you better make sure you have some Kleenex with you. At one point, Sally Fields' character, Malin, has to bury her daughter Shelby, played by Julia Roberts. Well, Malin has 4 wonderful friends, and they are always there to support each other, fight with each other. Oh, let me tell you, they argue with each other, but they really do love each other. Malin's grief overwhelms her at the cemetery. And one of her friends, Annelle, tries to make everything better by saying, Shelby is with her king now. Well, those words may be true, but they just seem to punch Malin right in the gut. And so she shouts back something very truthful. I understand that in my head, but somebody needs to explain it to my heart. Oh, haven't we felt like that? We don't always need someone to kiss the hurt away and make it better. Sometimes we do need to wail, to beat our chests and to cry out. And to do that is actually very cleansing. And that's where the community comes in. We hold open our arms and allow the person who is experiencing the trauma to just fall fast into our arms to be held. In both of the lamentation readings, we witness how the community just sits with the one who is dealing with the trauma. And I believe that's when we as a faith community are able to live up to our calling, because that is what we are called to do, to hold one another in our hearts, in our prayers, and giving space for each other as God has intended us to be. Oh, we're not always going to agree, trust me on that one. But there is something about the community that allows for varying voices, for different understandings, different experiences to come together and to just be in faith. Ministry is more than having theologically correct answers to our questions. We often need healing for our hearts that are broken more than we need the answers for the questioning mind. And we see that in the world today, don't we? I'm sure none of us can even comprehend the depth of sorrow and despair that the Casulo family in Brampton are living in, with those senseless deaths of the mother and her 3 daughters. We can't take their pain away, but the faith community can love them and listen to them. And the Black community has been lamenting for centuries about how they have been treated. And now they're crying out. But What is different is that we're finally hearing what they're saying. And we're working at not just saying, oh, there, it'll all be fine in the end. We want to listen and not judge. My experience as a middle-class white woman knows absolutely nothing of their experience. But I want to listen. I want to begin to understand, although I know I really never will be able to fully understand and grasp what they're going through. But I don't want to add to their trauma. I want to add compassion, love, grace. Or as the last line of the hymn I mentioned at the beginning of the reflection says, seek justice in God's ways as we move together from this place. How will I seek justice? How will you seek justice? How will we all seek justice? A friend of mine in Cambridge is half white and half Aboriginal. She's married and they have 3 small children. The benign racist comments she gets is very tiring on her soul and on her heart. She said this on a post on Facebook regarding a horrific flyer that is being passed around in the Waterloo-Kitchener area about biracial marriages being evil. She said, I'm so tired of fighting and want to take a break and simultaneously know I can't because my kids are already being barraged by this garbage now too. So to anyone who's prepared to be an ally and help the cause and go to the mattress for us, thank you. Well, I hope and pray that will be us as Schomberg Nobleton United Churches. Because you see, being in a community does make a difference. And that hit both Earl and me at the end of the national CBC News Friday night. Maybe you have actually heard about a 100-year-old veteran in London, England. I believe his name is Captain Tom. And he raised tens of millions of pounds for health workers in the midst of COVID-19. And he did that, are you ready for this, by having a marathon walk in his backyard around his garden. And he would do laps with his walker. I'm not sure how long it took him, but he wanted to donate everything that was raised to the health workers. It's a nice story, but it really doesn't end there. You see, there's a 5-year-old boy who was horribly abused by his birth parents, and he ended up losing both his legs from just below the knee. Well, he got adopted by an amazing family who have loved him, and now he's got 2 new prosthetic legs. Well, he saw Captain Tom on TV, and he thought, if he can do that with his walker, I'm going to walk 10 kilometers by the end of June on my new legs and give the money raised to the hospital that helped him. So there he was, beginning his walk, only being able to walk about 300 meters a day. And that was a bit of a challenge, but this kid is unstoppable. He now does triple that amount. And he decided he actually wanted to do more. He's done the 10 kilometers already, and that was on June 26th. And he's going to continue right through to Tuesday, June 30th. And how's he doing this? Well, with the love and support of family and community and Captain Tom. And he just wanted to raise 500 pounds for the hospital. Well, he has raised over £1 million already. Our community of faith is what offers support, love, help, hope, and home for each one of us and so many beyond our walls. So let us continue to seek justice as we move together from this place. Thanks be to God for never giving up on us. And all God's children said, Amen.